Steve, you mentioned taking out some of the controversial things out of the plan, and I mean, for the most part, the most controversial thing being going from one family to two family. Are you referring to that being taken out of the plan?
Yeah, and we're not proposing it entirely. So I'm happy to come back next month and show you, go through the map changes again. We've scaled back in some areas.
So Mr. Kleppen will not show map changes to the committee until next month after the hearings?
We kind of followed some guidelines, which I think I talked about last time. We focused our areas in and around mass transit.
East Norwalk has already been upzoned for mass transit.
Around infrastructure, around major employment centers, and applied some buffers to those areas, and then tried to fill in some of the gaps where it just didn't make sense to leave pockets of one zone versus another. But we have scaled that back and brought it, I think, to where it makes a little more sense.
Why did you upzone on East Avenue south of City Hall area, but literally skip over the neighborhood where a city councilman lives?
And hopefully is more palatable for everybody. Oh, John, you're muted. Sorry.
No, sorry, my bad. I'm gonna call you back. Okay, all right. That's good news. I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of talk. So, and I was no big fan of that change myself. Okay, any other questions? Oh, Ms. Shanahan.
So can Councilman Kitey's constituents expect him to speak on our behalf in opposition at the public hearings?
Yeah, so I'm sort of following up too, because as you know, Steve, definitely in my district, the zoning to two family was causing a lot of issues. But also in West Norwalk, the idea of leaving 1 acre zoning has been something I've been getting a lot of feedback. I don't know, are you getting that feedback, or do you need me to say I've gotten 20 emails or 20 phone calls and people stop me in the street about that? Or is that on your radar?
Yes, it is. And Brian in my office has been going and doing a very laborious and tedious exercise of looking at basically on a parcel by parcel basis in the 1 acre zone, with the idea of concern of if you remove the minimum lot area standard, is that going to end up with a rash of new development sites? We didn't think so from the beginning, and it turns out percentage wise we think it's really small, but he's still running some of the numbers. He should have that done any day now, I would think, but I'm happy to report back on that.
Will Mr. Kleppen's staff be doing a laborious parcel by parcel exercise to look at the impact of upzoning in East Norwalk?
Yeah, it'd be great to get back to my district, because they still don't like it, and they still think that, that could actually cause a lot more density.
Yes, Ms. Shanahan, that is the goal, but is your district okay with creating more density in my neighborhood?
And then there's also concerns about the watershed, because it's a really important watershed area. So the loss of ground to soak up in an area that floods already. So there is a lot of concerns around that.
Yep.
Not just the density, but also the flooding. Thanks.
No worries. According to Public Works and all the developers' consultants, runoff and pollutants are all mitigated by rain gardens and pollinator pathways.
Okay, any other questions for Steve? Thanks, Steve. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I attended 3 of the meetings, 2 in person and 1 via Zoom. And it was really helpful for me to hear the comments from the residents. And so, Steve, I think you've really done a good job of listening and pulling back, it sounds like to me, particularly in the, the 1 to 2 family where, I heard a lot of concerns in 2 districts.
We hope the concerns of East Norwalkers will finally be heard.
One thing that I've been hearing also from some constituents is around multifamily in some of the more historic areas, particularly around Golden Hill. So, I just want to put that out there, that's something that's I'm just starting to hear a lot of, and I was not able to attend that particular meeting. So I'll look it up online and see what was said there.
Yeah, I'm actually meeting with Golden Hill next week.
Great. Great.
And I mean, that's one area that we're still kind of tinkering with, because we get, the concerns. And so, yeah, we're still looking at that.
FYI, P&Z co-chairman Mike Mushak lives in the heart of Golden Hill neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you.
I did want to share that Steve's team put out 19,000 flyers directly to addresses in both English and Spanish to be able to encourage folks to come to the June 21st and June 28th hearing. So hopefully you'll see those hit your mailboxes. And if any of your constituents want to have more information, or want to get those links, they can connect with us and we can provide more info for them. But I think a really good effort on outreach from the P&Z standpoint on making sure that people know this is going on, both through the social media outlets, but also the mailers that we've been doing, which I think is great.
Yeah, they're supposed to arrive technically starting tomorrow. I wasn't going to say anything just in case there was some kind of error with the mailing. I didn't want to bill myself too high, but they're supposed to arrive Friday and Saturday, I'm told. So
That's ARPA funding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, just not really a question. I just wanted to make a comment. I wanted to say thank you to Steve, your team, to the waterfront team, the consultants. You guys have done a huge lift with this, and it's appreciated. But also, what I'm finding is you guys are listening to what the community is saying, and you're adjusting. You're listening to what is being said in committee here, what the commission is saying, and you guys are making adjustments on the move. And we know that, it's hard to find the utopian where everyone is happy with everything that's there, but you're working to try to figure out what that balance is. And I wanted to say thank you for doing that. I appreciate that you guys are working in that direction.
thank you.
Of course he appreciates the adjustments. Councilman Huvelman's immediate neighborhood has been carved out of the change over to two-family.
Yeah, definitely good job to Steve and the team.